Hello there, it's Jay here from Jay's Vintage Junk, and well, first off, apologies for no videos for the last couple of weeks. I had a little bit of a fun moment happen to me. Basically, what happened? A friend of mine asked me whether I'd have a look at a faulty outside light on the back of their house. And it's one of them ones. It's about second story on the house, and it's an old halogen light. It needed replacing, but he got a new bulb for it, and he's getting on in years, and didn't really feel confident going up the ladder to change the bulb. So I said, "Don't worry, I'll pop up and I'll put the bulb in for you." Anyway, I'm slightly mad at myself because I am actually ladder trained, ladder qualified. I have done ladders courses in the past for a previous employer of mine, and I know all about securing ladders. And you need to anchor your ladders off and make sure that they're secure. You never go up on an unsupported ladder. I know all these things. So I got my ladders out, and I thought, oh, it'll only take 2 minutes, just one screw out and change the bulb. I'll just put the ladders up. Anyway, I put the ladders up. Got up there to change the lamp, and like I say, it's an old fitting, and the screw that you undo to take the front cover off to change the lamp in it, it was a bit seized in there, so I put in a fair bit of pressure on it, pushing on it like that, so the screwdriver didn't slip. Well, I tried to get the screw to undo, and with pushing on it like that, my ladder basically shot from on the patio. It slid. I fell. I hit the roof of the conservatory. Fortunately, a couple of years ago, he had the conservatory roof. It was a glass roof. He had it clad over with tiles, like these faux tiles, and insulated on the inside, and the glass removed. So I didn't. Otherwise, I would have literally gone through the roof of the conservatory. Anyway, I hit that, bounced off the conservatory roof, and ended up in his garden in a bush. And fortunately, no bones broken or anything, but it left me rather battered and bruised. That's a bit of an understatement. I've been rather aching for the last 10 days. I've not really felt up to doing very much of anything, to be 100% honest. Like I say, I was a little bit on the battered and bruised side after that. And honestly, I'd started doing another video on the BBC repair. I'm making a little bit of progress, but I did that like part way through making that video, and I haven't actually had a chance to really get back to it and start working on it again. Like I said, it kind of like threw me out a little bit, that accident. Anyway, what I thought I'd do this quick video on is something I've just knocked up, which is going to be an aid to working on things. Now, I've had this little vise mounted on this block for years and years and years, and it's really handy for a few different things. What I mainly use this for, and what I actually put it on the block for in the first place, was connectors like this, where you have to crimp them shut. I'm sure you've seen these on ribbon cables. I think this is an old PC serial one, but IDE connectors, floppy drive connectors, they're all the same as this, where you put the cable in there, then you have to squash this together to actually crimp the cable into the connectors. And that's what I started using this. This is why I mounted this little vise on this block here like this. Basically, you open it up, you put your connector made in like that, turn it down, and then slowly wind it down and crimp the connector with it. It's also got another really useful little thing, which is when you've got like D-type connectors and you want to solder up D-type connectors like that. It's really handy because you can basically trap any D-type connector you want, like that, and it's then dead easy to obviously hold it while you solder your wires on. You're not sticking it in blue tack or struggling about with it, and it doesn't matter what size of connector, 50 pin, whatever, you just put it in, tighten it up, and it's really handy to use. And like I said, that's the whole reason I mounted this on that block, and I've had this many years now. But anyway, a little while ago, a friend of mine gave me some bits of Meccano. It was one of these Meccano starter kits. I think you could build like about 4 things with it. And it's something she found while she was having a clear out. I think it probably belonged to her ex-husband. And it wasn't complete. I tried putting together a couple of the things for it, and there's loads of bits missing out of it. So I was going to give it to one of the charity shops or something like that. But I thought, what can I do with the bits of Meccano? I must say as well that modern Meccano is absolute crap compared with the stuff that I had when I was a kid. So I built this. I thought it'd be really handy, as well as having the vice on here, to have some helping hands to hold things. So basically what I've done is I've made my own version of a helping hands set. If you look, this is all made out of bits of this old scrap Meccano. The idea is you can move these out like that. Can you see that on the camera? Yeah, you can. We've got 2 like this. These rotate in various different ways, and then we've got one at the back which you can pull out and hold like that. Pull these out and it'll hold the circuit board. You know, say you wanted to do some work on this, you wanted it actually holding rather than on the desk. I mean, I'm sure you wouldn't do it with something quite this big, but it's quite sufficient to be able to hold, you know, hold a board like that in place. Just bring you up a little bit so you can see that better. You know, if you wanted to work on that, take parts out, it's solid, you know, it's not going to move anywhere. You'd think with this really thin Meccano it'd be a bit unstable, but no, you know, it's decent. It does hold a board quite nicely. Take them off. Drop that off like that, so you can put it if you wanted to work on something. It will hold it nicely in place. Also handy if you want to, say, solder a connector up. Obviously I have got that for D-type connectors, but if it wasn't, you can still, you'll hold a connector quite nicely, this thing. Like that. Or even if it was just a couple of wires you wanted to solder on something. You know, it's handy to have a little device like this. I did actually have a set of the like RS helping hands at the company I used to work for, but obviously they belonged to the company. I didn't take them when I left or anything. And I've always thought, oh, it'd be handy to get a pair. I'll keep looking out for a cheap pair. And I just thought, looks like I've got all these little bits of Meccano. I wonder whether I can come up with something myself. So, like I said, that's what I've done here. I've had to do a few things to actually make this work, and like I said, it does work as well as I wanted it to. I've doubled up the Meccano on them 2 arms there, just to get rid of some bounce, because it did have a little bit of bounce in it before I did that. I mean, there's a little bit of bounce still in it now. The other thing I had to do is come up with a way to make these so they can pivot like this. Everything's got movement, but they don't actually, the joints don't loosen up, obviously, otherwise these would be flopping all over the place. And I'll show you basically what I did to accomplish that. I've got my screw box here. I've got the few little bits of Meccano I had left over. Like I said, there weren't much of it. A couple of wheels which I'll keep for other projects, which are quite nice. But apart from that, this mainly is it that I've got. I've used in this. I've got a couple of extra little bits in here. Just look at a couple of bits of Meccano. You see, your problem is, let's find a nut and a bolt, something suitable. Have I got any of the Meccano ones left? I don't know. It doesn't matter anyway, one of these will do. But your main problem is, you know, if you just take the 2 pieces like that and put a nut and a bolt through them. Let's try a different nut. There's all sorts of different stuff in here. It's not it was a kit, but I've thrown all sorts in it over the years. Right, there we go. So say you want that as a hinge like that. The problem is, I mean, you can tighten it up. Let's get a screwdriver on it. You can tighten it up like that. And obviously it'll move. But as soon as you start working it, that screw, that nut there will come undone and it'll just flop about. So I'll show you what I've done. Every joint on here has been done the same, and this is hopefully how it's going to work. What I did, let's find another nut. You need 2 nuts. Just make sure that fits. Yes, it does. So we need 2 nuts, and then we need a couple of washers. See if we've got some suitable washers in here. There's one. That'll do. That's one. Oh, there we've got two washers there as well. Let's see. Let's get you down so you can see what I'm doing. So we've got a couple of dots, the 2 bars we want to turn into a hinge, and a couple of washers. And this is what I've done on every one of the joints on that. I'll put a washer underneath there. Put the next piece of metal on, and I'll put another washer. And we'll screw our nut on like that. And get our tension, how much we want to be able for that to be able to. Let's just get you up a touch. We get our tension on there with the screwdriver as much as we want to have that as a hinge. So we want a bit of movement in it. And once we've got the movement we want, we take the other nut. We use this as a locking nut. We lock that on there. We take the screwdriver just so it won't spin. And we want to tighten that nut down onto the nut that's underneath it. You could do this with 2 spanners, but holding the screwdriver like that basically does the same thing. So those 2 are locked together now, and now that works as a hinge. It can do that as much as you want. They won't undo, so you've got a hinge that'll stay where. This is basically how the hinges on a laptop screen work. I mean, some of them have springs in there as well, but in the very basic way, this is exactly how a laptop hinge works. So that's how I've done all these moving arms on here. This is where you can move them about and they don't come loose, they just move where you want them to. So I thought that were an interesting little project, just out of some bits of Meccano that we really weren't. There weren't enough there to make, like I said, any of the projects in the actual book that came with it. There was loads of bits missing. So it was really only, stick it on eBay as a scrap lot of Meccano. But I think people really want proper Meccano, not this modern, really thin stuff. But it's coming useful for this. I think it's quite a nice, useful little addition to my workbench for them times when I want to hold a small board or something while I do some soldering to it, or if indeed if I've got a connector in there and I just want to hold a wire for now. I've got these that I can move across, so they will turn in any real direction like that. If you wanted to say hold a wire while you soldered it, you can do with that now. Anyway, like I said, it was just going to be a quick little video, this, just to say I'm sorry for not making any like videos on the Beebs or any of the other videos I've got in the pipeline at the moment. But like I said, we're a little on the little bit on the battered and bruised side. I am recovering. I'm back doing what I do now. But like I said, I was a bit achy for a while after that. So I'm going to leave it there for now. I hope you enjoyed that little rambly update. But that's what you can make out of some junk bits of Meccano. Oh, the crocodile clips are exactly the same as well. I had to use a slightly smaller screw, but these are just really cheap crocodile clips. I think I've got a pack of 5 of them, a pack of 5 or 10 of them off eBay ages ago for like 99p or something. And they have a little hole top and bottom, and I just fed a slightly thinner screw than I've used here through the top hole, washer, Another washer when it's gone through the metal work, and then just double nut on it again, just so these can turn. You can have them wherever you want them and they stay. Like I said, they don't come loose or anything. So anyway, I'm going to leave it there for now. Like I said, I hope you enjoyed that little ramble. So thanks for watching and goodbye.